Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Power Man Podcast. My name is Rory Paquette, and I am, as always, your very grateful host. Very, very grateful host. Thank you so much for being here today. This is a different kind of an episode today. It's a little weird because it's the 31st day, so there's no sponsor on this program. we have we have 30 days of sponsors, but not 31, and that keeps things even and equal in terms of billing in the way that I do it. But so there's no sponsor today for this episode. I'm still gonna drink my coffee. And yes, before you send me the DMs, it is still Freedom Hill coffee. I do actually drink that. Gentlemen, I have a short and I hope meaningful message for you today. Um, I come on here every day and I interview very strong men, powerful, powerful men, writers and podcasters and uh, pillars of industry and men who have recovered from abuse and neglect and substance abuse and all sorts of other types of abuse. We bring men on here who have written magnificent books and who have put out fantastic shows. We bring men on here who are personal trainers who take unbelievable care of their body and help others not only do the same, but reclaim feelings that they may have lost. We have men on here who are pastors. We have men on here who are simply Christians and very devout in their faith. We have veterans on here that are battling, wars that none of us know about. We have veterans on here that loved their service, and we have men on here who lift up other men. And as all of those men come and go, from the other side of my table, and as we tell these stories, we give some advice and we give some guidance along the way. And we say, hey, gentlemen, if you can, try to live this way because it's better or it's stronger or it's, more Christ-like or, whatever the case might be, right? And every once in a while, I do get a little blowback, hey, it must be nice. How's the view from the cheap seats? You know, it's easy to sit on a podcast and say all this stuff when you're not going through it. Gentlemen, I wanted to remind you about a couple things today. I have gone through it. This podcast continues to grow, and I want you all to know that I have not, even a little bit, forgotten where I came from and why I started this thing in the first place. I come from a lifetime of abuse. I watched a mother die of cancer for 16 years. I mean, I understand grief. I understand that feeling of helplessness. I've been divorced. I understand what it's like trying to co-parent and having the courts line up against you and take everything you have and grind you onto their boot. I get it. I've helped raise, three wonderful children, and I've been a sports dad. I've seen the good and the bad sides of that. Hell, I've been a part of the good side and the bad side of that in the past. I've been a coach for a very long time, and it's probably the one thing that brought me pure joy in my life, other than my children. Gentlemen, I've been there. And the reason for the message today is because, when I tell you that you need to lead your family, when you need to, endeavor to protect, to provide for, to lead. I understand the difficulty in that statement and in those tenets. I really do. And I know that when I'm asking you to do that, I'm asking you to do it for yourself and for your family. But when I'm asking you to do that, I don't take it lightly. I understand that no matter how hard you try to lead, no matter how successful you might be at it at times, it will always get thrown back in your face. I understand that in order to provide, it doesn't matter if you work 70 or 80 hours a week. It doesn't matter if you start a business. It doesn't matter if you give your heart and soul to trying to make money to help your family, to give your wife things that, she needs and wants on any given day at any given time. It won't matter. You won't ever really, truly get credit for it. There will always be the possibility that, again, at any given moment, you will be told that you're not present because you're thinking about how to build your business. You'll be told that everything else is more important, even when everything you're doing is for the thing that is most important, and that's your wife and your kids. It won't matter if you have a conversation ahead of time and say, look, I'm trying to build something here. It's going to be tough. I'm not always going to be present. I'm going to be exhausted. I need to know if you're okay with that. And even if they look you right in the eye and say, yes, I'm okay with it. I understand. They're not, and they don't. Gentlemen, I understand that being a man in this world today, I understand that being a husband and being a father in this world today means you will never actually be appreciated for what you do, for how you do it. The sacrifices that you make, the things you live without and do without, the pain that you deal with will never, ever, ever be credited to you, ever. Because it's what's expected. I understand, gentlemen, that while your wife or your children are trying to tell you everything that's wrong with them and everything you've done wrong and everything that you've done to, upset them, that you're expected to sit there and listen to all of it, not try to fix it, and just take the beating. I also understand that if you dare to try and talk about how you feel about it, you will be vilified, you'll be wrong, and you will get the message loud and clear that your feelings don't matter at all. I understand wholeheartedly the battle that you will fight for the rest of your lives around the word intimacy. If you don't try to be physical, then you're not paying any attention and there must be somebody else. If you ever say no, that maybe you're not up to it, the world will come crashing down because that's simply not an okay response. And yet, no matter what your needs might be, speaking about them, or frankly, even feeling them, will make you an absolute villain. You'll be wrong. Gentlemen, I understand the futility that you will feel as you try and implement every change in your life, as you try and level up, as you try and do better tomorrow than you are today. I realize that you'll be met with resistance at every single turn, even from the people that you're trying to do it for. And I understand as well as anybody that you will occasionally feel hopeless. And you will feel like no matter what you do, you will never, ever stop paying for a mistake you made in the past. You will never, ever truly be able to move forward into a new future. And you will never feel validated, ever. And the hardest part, gentlemen, is that none of this is playing the victim. This is raw, open, very painful fact. And the reason that I'm telling you this is not to sit here and say boo-hoo and poor us. It certainly isn't to gather all of you guys together in a room and, give you a big group hug and have a big old pity party for ourselves. It's to say that I understand that you feel that way and why you feel that way. And that's why I give the advice that I give. And right now you're probably going, what exactly are you trying to say, brother? I understand that. So let me cut to the chase and make the point. All of the things that I've just said are 100% true. It doesn't matter if our wives agree with it or not. It doesn't matter if you agree with it or not, frankly. Maybe you haven't experienced it yet, but it doesn't change the fact that it's true. Just because you can't see the wind doesn't mean it's not actually there. Gentlemen, the power that you seek in your life, the fire that you are dying to feel again, is in taking all of that and succeeding anyway. The power that you have in your life is that no matter what you actually get hit with, you can decide to keep moving forward. It just takes the decision. This is where the Stoic movement came from. It was from the idea that if we actually have feelings, they will never be validated. We will always be wrong, and we will always sit there in pain, feeling less than. And so the Stoics said, you know what? Move into your logical mind and stop feeling. No, I've never gone quite that far. I would never say stop feeling. What I will tell you is that understand that no matter what you feel, you got to find a way past it. You see, gentlemen, we all are fighters. We are the gladiators, the warriors. It's what we've been since the beginning of time. But the problem is we don't know what war we're supposed to fight. Gentlemen, the war is not with the outside world anymore. The war is not with your wife or your children. It's not with your family. You're never going to get the validation and the credit. Okay? You're never going to get it. It doesn't exist in this plane of consciousness. And it's okay because that's not where the battle is. The battle is with you. It's you versus you. And I know that as I sit here and I recognize that my battle is with me, then I have to say to myself, why am I looking for validation? Why do I why do I so desperately need my family, my wife, my peers to acknowledge my value? Because I'm not acknowledging it. I'm looking for outside validation. Gentlemen, when you need someone else to tell you that you have worth, when you need someone else to tell you that you have value, you've given your value away. We live our lives in pain. You've heard it said, most men live lives of quiet suffering. Of course we do. It's because we haven't embraced it. And what I'm going to tell you next here, I hope you take to heart. There is no participation trophy that's going to give you this kind of pride. There is no plaque. There's no award. There's no ribbon ceremony. There's no podium. Not for us. Not for men. Not for husbands and fathers. There wasn't one when we signed up. And if we didn't know that this is what we were getting into, then we were fooling ourselves when we took the leap. Gentlemen, we got into this game knowing what the rules were and knowing that there was no finish line with a gold medal. We knew that winning this game was in never quitting it. You see, gentlemen, every single day that you wake up and you take another step, you win. Every single day that you get blamed for something that happened in the past, yet again. Every single day that you wake up and you are do not have your intimacy that you feel returned. Every day that you're told that you're awful for wanting that. Every single day that nobody says thank you for everything that you provide and everything you've done. Every single day that all those things happen and you take another step, you win. None of that was promised. None of that was part of the deal. None of that was in the contract. We were hired to come in and fight a war against ourselves. And that's the job that we signed up for. And every day, it's our own insecurity. It's our own ego. It's our own need for outside validation that beats us into the ground. That tells us, why bother? That tells us, you might as well quit because nobody cares. Who cares if nobody cares? You're a man. Your job is to fight. And gentlemen, you're losing. You're losing the fight to yourself. This is what we signed up for. This is what we bought into. And so when we feel like giving up, it's because we're beating ourselves into the ground. You see, it's not our wives, it's not our children, it's not our families, it's not our jobs. Nobody's beating us into the ground, guys. No matter what you might think, and no matter where you might want to put that blame, nobody is beating us into the ground except us. This is something I end up having to relearn all the time. And it's moments like that when I want to make sure that I'm pointing it out to you guys. I'm not saying, I'm perfect at this, and so you should, be perfect at it too. I'm telling you, I struggle. I struggle all the time with this idea. And every single time I feel the struggle, I come out the other side and I go, you know what? I don't need all those things. I wasn't promised all those things. I made up needing all those things in my own mind. It's never been part of the deal, ever. So to be upset that it's not included now is a trap. And I'm going to do you one more, and then I'm going to let you go. I'm going to put this in Christ-like terms because that's where I stem from. Obviously, if you want to, if you prefer words like the universe and energy and things like that, please use those exact same words because in my mind, these are all the same thing and we just call it different stuff. In my belief system where I come from, okay, you've got good and evil and you've got God and you've got the devil. And that's just how it works. You do not need to believe that in order to hear this. When you're trying to level up, evil is going to get in your way. It is going to do everything in its power to knock you down and keep you down if you let it. Because it doesn't want you to become a threat. It doesn't want you to get strong. Don't let it. And it will use whatever means necessary. It will come at you through hurtful words from your wife. It will come at you through, no appreciation and acting like you don't exist to your kids. And it will come at you through the people that you love, that you would literally give your life for. If evil senses an ounce of insecurity, a crack in that wall, boy, it's going right for that weakness. And it's going to pound on it. So when you're feeling a certain way, when you're feeling like, man, why bother? Nobody cares. That's what evil wants. So, gentlemen, be smarter than that. Recognize who you are. Understand that the challenge isn't to change somebody else. The challenge is to change how it's hitting you. The challenge is to seal up that crack of insecurity that's in your foundation that's making you weak. Gentlemen, being strong isn't just about muscles. Being strong isn't just about concrete and steel and iron. Being strong is about being resolute. It's about being strong of mind. And it's about recognizing when evil is staring you right in the face and the face is someone that you love. It isn't them. They're just the tool that's being used against you because you've given evil an opening. Move this over to the idea about the universe and energy. And I'm going to tell you something right now. There isn't a single person out there that deals with energy and the universe and so on and so forth that isn't going to agree with everything I just said. When you try to level up, the universe lines up against you because they try to maintain the status quo. Growing, getting stronger. In order to get your muscle stronger, you have to break down the muscle fiber and let it regrow bigger, stronger, and faster, don't you? Yes, you do. Gentlemen, we got to be smarter. We got to be stronger. We got to be resolute. Don't let the bad days win. Fight back. Fight back. And start repairing your own foundation so that you can build the empire that you deserve. You matter. You have value. You are so worth it. You just have to believe it. Until next time.